Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So since we are now in 2024 and the New Year's are always such a good opportunity for us to reflect and see what changes we want to make in our life and set new resolutions, I have chosen 5 books that I believe can help you gain the tools necessary to make the changes that you want, to manifest your goals, or even become the person that you desire to be this year. So here is a quick rundown of the 5 books. You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. This book is a guide to reach your full potential and make the changes within yourself and in your life so that you can live your greatest life. And it is brilliantly well written and funny, so you will surely have a great time reading this book. Next we have The 4 Agreements, a Toltec wisdom book by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is a spiritual book that gives you 4 simple yet essential principles to live by to help live freer, happier and more authentically this year. Then we have The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which includes How to Attract Money by Joseph Murphy. So this book is more related to getting into the right mindset and the straightforward practices that can get you to manifest your dreams in a practical way and learn how powerful our subconscious mind truly is. Then we have Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? Everyday Tools for Life's Ups and Downs by Dr. Julie Smith. This is more than a self-help book. It is a toolkit with concepts and skills based on therapy that you can apply for yourself for different types of issues, situations, and experiences throughout your life, such as anxiety, fear, low mood, grief, and self-doubt. And last but not least, we have Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is one of my favorite books. It links science and spirituality, and you will learn that you are truly capable of achieving anything you desire and have access to all the hows and whys from a scientific perspective. And if you would like to know a little bit more about these books, then keep watching this video. So the first book, You Are a Badass, is almost like a mashup of around 10 self-help books, and she mashes them up in one whole step-by-step guide to realizing your greatness and living an amazing life. So for this reason in itself, it's a great value and a worthy investment. But you will also have so much fun reading it because she is witty and funny as heck. She has this comedic bone that translates perfectly in her writing. Throughout the book, you will have moments where you're laughing and relating to what she is writing, and moments where you're incredibly inspired and having your mind and perception widen and motivated to take action. Which is what this video is all about, which is finding these books that will inspire you to be your greatest self and live your greatest life. This book is really the perfect guide to help you start making changes in your life, even if you're not sure what you want to change, but feel like you need to because you're not satisfied, or you know what you need to change, but you don't know how or where to start. It gives everything you need to find those answers and guide you through the process, from finding your purpose to being aware of old narratives that were holding you back and learning how to create new and empowered ones. Stop procrastination, and you will also learn the key secrets to manifest your dreams and so forth. She has so many powerful steps and chapters that are really useful, but the ones that stood out for me the most were the How to Find Your Purpose one and Others Being a Mirror to You, which I believe is in chapter 8 and 21. The chapter where she explains how you can find your purpose, I feel like it's so beneficial to anyone, especially for those like me who didn't have at a very early age a gift that stood out or a clear idea of what they wanted to be. And her way of explaining and guiding the readers to help them find their purpose, I think is very clear and helpful and effective, because from my experience, it was exactly how I discovered mine. And even if for some reason along the way you start doubting or having questions of whether or not this is truly what you're supposed to be doing, then coming back to this chapter can be very helpful to get that clarity that you seek. And the chapter where she explains how other people are our own mirrors, it is very enlightening because it almost sums up the importance of self-love and self-worth and respecting yourself. And this is something that she is constantly emphasizing throughout her book. And if you get to a point where you think, oh my God, this is too much, or maybe she's just exaggerating or something, when you arrive at this chapter, you will see how truly important it is to cultivate self-love, especially for your relationship with others, as they can be the perfect mirror to how you truly think and feel and treat yourself. It can be so revealing, and she not only explains how you can learn and grow from your relationships, but also how you can withdraw from those who are toxic and having that discernment. She explains everything in a very direct and concise way, and she goes straight to the point. So she doesn't gloss over anything. She gives very practical advice and steps and tools to take action. And she's always so approachable and funny, so you'll have so much fun reading this book. This is one of those books that at first I wasn't really sure about, but it surprised me in such a delightful way, because I really feel like this book has all the essential information to really stop limiting yourself, to love and appreciate yourself, and embrace the greatness that you can be and the wonderful life that you can create. It is empowering, funny, and truly brilliant, and it really has become one of my favorite books. So for our second book, we have The Four Agreements. And on a spiritual side, I was honestly going back and forth between this book and The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, which are two amazing spiritual books. But what ultimately made me choose this book is its practicality, especially for those who are not so familiarized with these kinds of books and subjects. And this book is more straightforward and not as complex. And you can start applying these principles straight away, which seems simple enough, but it does require work and effort to remember to apply these principles into your life. So the four agreements are as follow. The first one is be impeccable with your word, which means that your words have power and it's important to use them wisely. So it's important to avoid gossip and criticism and judgment toward yourself and others, because these kinds of thoughts and words can be very toxic and poisonous. The second agreement is don't take anything personally, which means being aware that what others do to you is a reflection of themselves and their insecurities, and not a reflection of your own worth and value. The third agreement is don't make assumptions, which reminds us that we are always making assumptions about others, and most of the times they are not even true, but we feel this need to fill in the gaps, and most of the times we do so with our own insecurities and worst case scenarios, when the solution would be to simply ask or avoid making assumptions to prevent unnecessary drama in our life. And the fourth agreement is always do your best, which teaches us that trying our best is enough, and our best can differ depending on our life situations. And it's important for us to release guilt and self-judgment and self-criticism, and knowing that only with time are we really able to implement these changes in ourselves. And what is important is that we are trying, and that will always be enough. So it's a reminder for us to not be so hard on ourselves. So since I read this book, I've created the habit to set these intentions every morning when I wake up, even if it's just to remind myself of them. And what I've realized is that in specific moments of the day, when I start getting consumed by something, like starting to make assumptions of what other people are thinking about me, especially the worst kind of assumptions, I'll remind myself of these principles. And it really helps to then ground myself and almost like step back and remember, wait, you don't really know what that other person is thinking about you. You're just making these assumptions. And it really helps to have perspective. So in many ways, this really helps to free ourselves from the prison that our mind sometimes creates. And with time, if we keep reminding ourselves of these principles and applying them into our lives, it will get easier, because then we are replacing those old limiting habits and beliefs with these new empowered and liberating ones. So for the third book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Again, this is a very practical book, like all of the books on this recommendation video, and the author really dives into the importance of visualizing, believing, and feeling your desired reality as if it has already manifested. He offers so many examples of people who, by practicing these steps, were able to manifest their wildest dreams. Now, this book is a little bit older than the rest of these books, and some concepts and descriptions can be a little bit outdated. However, the core value of this book and his teachings can not only be applied today, but still has a lot of value. So a very quick and a very important practice that he teaches is right before you go to sleep to visualize and imagine your desired reality being already true and feeling all the emotions that you would if you were living that reality. So having like a very detailed imagination and visualization of your desired reality, and especially feeling how it would feel to have it already in your life. So be as detailed as you can, and doing so right before you go to sleep, you will train your subconscious mind to accept this reality and making it believe that you are already living this life. You can also do it right after you wake up, because you are still in a drowsy state where your subconscious mind is still in a state of acceptance. Or you can also associate a word, a phrase, or an affirmation to the reality that you want to manifest, and repeat that in the morning and throughout the day to reinforce your power of suggestion. And this is all possible because your subconscious mind operates through the law of belief. So by changing what you believe to be possible through your conscious mind, by making a daily and consistent effort to think and visualize that not only your dreams are possible, but they are already yours, you are creating a new set of beliefs from which your subconscious mind will then accept and attract it. This is a very useful book, and it truly serves as a guide, but also a great motivator to embrace and use your innate power to create your wildest dreams. The fourth book is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before by Dr. Julie Smith. So like I mentioned in the intro, this is a book that provides you the tools to deal with challenges we naturally experience in our lives, such as low mood, motivation, emotional pain, grief, self-doubt, fear, anxiety, stress, feeling lost, and relationships. And like the author mentioned, these are not only therapy skills, but they are life skills. And this book offers us these skills to use whenever we need them in order to build a healthier mental and emotional life. She explains the mechanisms of these experiences, how they happen, why they happen, and most importantly, she offers ways to approach and deal with them in a healthy way that is based on research and science. So one of the things that stood out for me in this book and I found particularly useful was the thought bias description, which are thought patterns that we experience, especially when we feel down and experience low mood. And when we know them, we are better able to be aware of them, and we are then able to identify them when they appear and realize that those thoughts are not a reflection of our reality, but our perception of it in that particular moment. It's a reminder that our thoughts are not facts, but an opinion or an idea, and we can open ourselves up to the possibility of there being just more than just one possibility. So just for curiosity, here is a table of thought biases examples, and I am sure you will be able to relate to most, if not all of them. You can also pause the video to read in more detail. And then the author proceeds to explaining what to do with thought biases and things that help with these kinds of thoughts. So this is just an example of the valuable and abundant information and tools that you get with this book. That is practical, clear, direct, insightful, and extremely useful. I believe this book is structured in a way that you can either read the whole book or skip to the chapters that you need. So for example, if you are dealing with stress, then you can skip to that chapter and get the tools that you need to help you with it. So this is definitely the kind of book that you want to keep around to aid you in life's different situations, and a valuable toolkit to have throughout this year, especially if you are looking to improve your mental and emotional health. You can also follow Dr. Julie Smith through her social media, because she also provides a lot of information and help through there as well. And last but not least, we have Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This book has everything. It has the spiritual, the meditations, the tools, the steps, the explanations, the research, the case studies, and so on. That really helps you change your life and take back your power to live the life that you deserve. I have recommended this book a few times, and I promise that I'm not obsessed with it, but I really find it fascinating and truly useful for anyone that really wants to change their life and have access to the scientific proof that you truly do have the power to change, create, and manifest your dreams. Whether it's health, a job, money, or love, whatever it is, you have it within you to make it happen. So very briefly, Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that if we want to change our future, we have to change our present, which means that we need to change how we think and feel and act in the present moment. So basically, if we keep repeating the same thoughts, actions, patterns, and habits, then we are creating a predictable future. So for example, if you want to be successful in your work, then you have to think and feel and act like you are a successful person, because then not only are you creating these beliefs that empower you to make it happen, but you are also energetically aligning with that version of yourself that already exists in the endless field of possibilities, or the 0 point field, which is called in quantum physics. Energetically, you need to vibrate at the same frequency as what you want to attract, which can be done through how you act and think, but most importantly, how you feel, because our feelings are our most potent energetic points of attraction. And we can choose every day when we wake up to either focus on what we don't want, or fear or don't like, or focus on what we do want and what we want to manifest and what we enjoy and what we are passionate about and what we are grateful for, in order to attract the same frequency feelings and corresponding experiences into our life. He offers many ways on how we can practice living our desired reality and be the person that we want to be. He offers meditations, exercises, and examples. He has charts, graphics, and illustrations that help us understand all his teachings and findings. It is a very thorough book where he dives beyond the human limitations that we grew up believing that we had, and have access to verified information that proves the existence of our supernatural abilities. And I just really want to point out before we end this video that if you can't afford any of these books, then you can always go online and you'll have access to so many information and videos and interviews with these authors. Especially Dr. Joe Dispenza has so many videos where he explains all of these teachings that he includes in this book. And you can even find free audiobooks on YouTube. So don't let that be a limitation for you. We live in a digital world, and there is so much that you still can access for free online. So this is very briefly a description of these books, and hopefully was able to help in some way. I'm sending you so much love and light. Have a wonderful new year.